Hello and thanks for watching my video. Today I'm doing a video on just 10 things that you can do every single day that may help make you ahead of a lot of gold. You can see in the background what I've actually been spending a lot of gold on is working on getting those T6 maps, which will help me to create a legendary back piece. So for those of you out there wanting to make a lot of gold, and you know, even if you don't have that much time, that you've only got like half an hour each day to play the game, there are still ways that you can do to actually, and things that you can actually do to maximize how much gold you make. And I have a set routine. When I log in, there are certain things that I do generally that will help me gain the maximum amount of gold in the most efficient way possible. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to be the same case for everybody, but for me, these top 10 ways in actually things that you do just to gain a lot of gold with the least amount of effort. So without further ado, let's find out, as you can see me gliding away in my lovely new legendary back piece. At number one, we have just log in. You get 28 days of rewards, and you can get a hell of a lot of rewards just by logging in. You don't even have to do it daily. You just log in, collect the reward, log out. Really good if you've got alternate accounts. I have an EU account that I log in every day on, and generally you can get a huge amount of exotic equipment, laurels, and ascended gear. Every 28 days you'll get some ascended items, which could worth generally between 8 and 14 gold. You get a permanent increase in gold as well. Easy way to make gold in the long term. So this is doing dailies. Now you can see here I've obviously done dailies, but you actually get a little chest for each daily you do. But if you do 3 dailies, you'll get 2 golds. That works out to 14 gold a week. A very easy way to earn a quick amount of gold by doing the least amount of effort needed, by doing quick dailies. You can log in, get it all over and done with in less than 10 minutes. Easy 2 gold. This is kind of carrying on from the last one. Obviously you noticed that I did PvP dailies. PvP dailies are generally really easy to do. It doesn't take too long. You can get most of them done all at once. You know, you can see here Daily Engineer and Necromancer. But why is this a good way to earn gold? Well, you actually get potions of PvP rewards, and that actually helps go along these reward tracks. Now, some of these reward tracks can be very, very profitable, especially, for example, for the one I'm doing at the moment, the Ascalon Catacombs one. They actually give you a weapons chest, an exotic weapons chest, that you can pick whatever one you want. Now, if you have got all these items and you don't need any of the skins, you don't need any of the, for any other character, you can probably toss 4 into the Mystic Forge and try and get a precursor. So this, for me, doing your PvP dailies to get those potions of PvP rewards can be very, very profitable, particularly in the long term. So number 4 is your home instance. Now this is obviously going to be varied on person by person. So you can see in my minimap, I do actually have quite a large amount of nodes. There generally are people advertising in chat saying that they have a full home instance, for example. I don't have a full home instance. I have a couple of nodes. One, the ancient node that I got from a Black Lion drop, and a few that I actually purchased from the gem store. But these home instance nodes are phenomenal ways. If you keep doing them every day, you can actually earn a fair amount of profit. For example, you got the Winter's Day tree here. That's worth a few silver, at least 7 silver, I believe. And then you can see here I've got wooden logs as well. But this is obviously my home instance, and some people, the newer players, they're not going to have that bigger home instance. So you want to look at the guild halls. Now the guild halls actually, again, depend on the size of the guild and how much it's progressed, but you can see here my guild is actually maxed out, so I'm getting every available node that's possible, and this for me is a phenomenal way in which I can earn a substantial amount of gold in a very, very little amount of effort. It takes less than 5 minutes to do. It probably takes about 3 minutes to actually get all this gold, and I worked out roughly for the guild hall it's going to take me about, it's going to earn me around about a gold, and this roughly the same for the home instance. Daily Fractals. So now we're pushing into the slightly heavier stuff that's going to take a little bit more time. But you can see here, this is level 77. We're even formatting it. I've actually got a lot of infused and agony resistance. So for those of you who don't have agony resistance, you might have to start off lower. But you can see in the Daily Fractals, they do give rewards for lower tiers. But doing these fractals, some of them may take, up to 10 minutes, but they can give you a huge amount of loot. Not only by opening fractal encryptions, but by the loot that we actually get from these tiers. So by doing a tier 4, I get tier 1, 2, 3, as well as 4's rewards. Easy way for me, we had this Swamp Man was in the rotation. Quick way to actually earn a decent amount of gold, and what I'm going to quickly show you is actually the rewards that you get from doing the daily fractals and why it's such worthwhile. So we get the fractal adepts, you'll see here, not too much. With the next one up, we get, again, nothing spectacular. We actually get ascended chance of ascended gear. We get a preserved Radaris accessory, which is quite handy. Not exactly handy for the stats, but nice enough. And for the top one, unfortunately, we've got a defensive potion. Nice and useful for the high-end, like 90s and 100 fractals, but generally not too impressive. Again, you'll open these fractal encryptions. You'll see here we've got 1.2 gold by opening these manuscripts. That's a nice way, as well as some champ bags. And we've got a staff that we can sell on the trading post, and that's going to be obviously a rare, so that should be worth around about 60. Oh, it's actually worth quite high. It's actually worth about 90 odd silver. It's quite a high staff. It's a soldier's staff. Guardians will use that a lot. So you can see here stabilizing matrices as well that we'll actually sell that can earn a substantial amount as well. So yes, daily fractals are well worth doing. Dungeons, they're back in fashion, and boy can you earn a decent amount. Probably not as much as you used to be able to, but it's still pretty high up there. Not only that, with the elite specs, the dungeons generally now are quite easy to go through. If you want the quick ones, this is Sorrow's Embrace. Very, very quick path. It took us less than 5 minutes to do this. And that roughly translated to about 3 gold profit because of some of the drops that I got out of this. And then we did Sorrow's Embrace path 2. But also you can do many different paths. If you do 8 in different paths, you actually get another 5 gold on top. And you also get the choice of 150 tokens for any particular dungeon that you want. Very, very useful. If you watched a video that I did yesterday, that's also in the playlist, you can actually see why that's actually very, very useful, because you can make a lot of gold by trading your tokens for different items from one of the vendors. So this, for dungeons, and I'll show you as well now, just the amount of loot that I actually got, it is substantial amount, and it's well worth carrying on and going back and doing a few daily dungeons. If you've got that spare 10 minutes, dungeons are definitely something you want to consider. At number 7, we have the World Boss Train. You can see here I'm on GW2Timer.com. So if you're ever just logging in and you want to know which one to go to, it actually even gives you the waypoint that you can then type in chat. So you can see here, you can put it in like say chat, and boom, you can go to that waypoint, and bam, can do the boss. So you can see here I'm bang on target, going for the Shadow Behemoth. Not many people here, to be honest, but at least we're actually able to do that. So again, it's something that if you're struggling, for time and want to actually focus on certain things to do, then doing these world bosses are actually something that you want to consider. And it's an easy way to get a little bit of loot, some rares, and move on and go on to the next boss. At number 8, we have harvesting, aka farming. This would be things like the flax nodes, and you can see here the cypress sapling doing the elderwood log farm. By harvesting these nodes, you can get a lot of materials which you can sell on the trading post, and each one of these is going for over 2 silver, which generally doesn't take you too long. Obviously we've got a daily as well that will help us, but if you can get up to, you can earn a substantial amount of gold just by having a character parked here, do a quick farming that takes you less than a minute, and then move on or swap to another character. Harvesting definitely is a good way to earn gold. Kind of boring, but again, all it requires is just one character to stay parked at this particular point that can do all your harvesting for you, and then it'll allow you to save a lot of gold if you're ever going for some of these rare items like the legendary weapons or the legendary armor, and you need a lot of these materials. This is definitely going to save you a lot of gold on that front. Time-gated materials, yes. These are types of things you can see here. We have spirit wood planks that you actually have to craft a glob of elder spirit residue to make one of these. But generally, the other components, the softwood planks, the seasoned wood planks, the hardwood planks, they actually cost less than a spirit wood plank would on the trading post. And you think, well, why don't people do that? And that's because it's time gated materials, so you can only craft one of these items per day, and that means you are limited as to how many that you can craft in a particular time, which is why obviously people then spend money on the trading post to actually buy them. But it's not just this. There are other items that are time gated, and time gated items will generally have a higher value, especially in the short term. So if you ever get items that come into the game that are time gated, the best thing to do is to make them and then sell them straight away. And you'll see here, for example, a plate of meaty plant foods is actually worth a lot more than its actual components put together. And so by crafting that, you'll actually make a decent amount of profit that you can then sell on the trading post and earn yourself a little bit of gold just by doing that every single day. And then finally, if you've done all of these items, these forms of earning gold, then you have the Silverwastes. That is right. A pretty boring thing to do, but if you have exhausted everything else, the fractals, the dungeons, the world boss train, the harvesting, time-gated materials, then do some Silverwastes, because it's still profitable by opening up these bandit chests, using the spades to actually find them, or the shovels to find them, and then you can actually dig them up, open them up with bandit crest keys, and boom, then you're going to earn yourself a decent amount of gold. It's something that people used to do a lot more than they do now, but it's still a way you can earn a decent amount of gold. If you want further information, check out my video on my channel that I did a while ago. It's still valid, and even though there's less people running this now, it's still a good way to make gold. So there we go, guys. That's been 10 ways that you can just do by logging in each day, earn some quick gold if you haven't got that much time. This is a list that I'm hoping you might already be aware of, but it's just something that you might want to prioritize. Just by logging in, you can think, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can do that. Usually I do it in this order. I'll do my daily login, I'll do my dailies, which generally is my PvP dailies. I'll then go and harvest my home instance and guild nodes, do some fractals, do some dungeons, occasionally go back and join the world boss train, do some farming and harvesting, and craft some time-gated materials before doing the Silverwastes. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave me any comments you have if there's any other ways that you do, anything else that you do. I'd like to hear about it. It'd be good to see if I've forgotten anything. But yes, please leave me a message in the answer in the section below, and I'll see you on the next one.